Hi, Graham. It's 11 o'clock. Are you ready to continue?
Yes.
I emailed you counter on 10.6 payroll practices. Try and put that on the screen. If you want to briefly go through.
Okay, got it. I look forward to our team.
All right. Are you able to see that in front of you?
Yes.
All right. So our counter proposal is change around subsection A to kind of keep the status quo to 26 pay periods, biweekly installments, but we added that language, the last few sentences there, for a couple of reasons. One, we're still concerned, I think we articulated this in prior sessions, we're still concerned with the arrangement where faculty, depending on how the calendar falls, starts to get paid before actually performing work. And if there's a separation, could be an issue. It's an issue that the auditors have raised before. So we want to agree to continue to do this, trying to provide some protection. So we added language that essentially says employee leaves after being paid, but before they actually earn the work, that they have to reimburse. We can withhold any benefits or separation type pay, any payouts. If there's nothing to be withheld, they have 30 days to pay, in which time it becomes union's obligation. I don't think that this is the kind of thing that would happen very often. But needless to say, it's something that is a concern for the auditors. As written, as the union had it written, there are times when you could even have two paychecks before the contract starts. So that's the concern we're trying to address with that change in subsection A. Separated out the winter break issue. We want to continue to basically do what we've done in the past, and that on the winter break is that you get paid two paychecks before the college closes. The way you had it was a double paycheck, but it doesn't always quite work that way. It may just be two paychecks instead of biweekly. You may get one week and then one a week in advance. But I think what you're aiming for there is to make sure everybody gets that winter paycheck before you actually leave for the winter. And that concept, we just changed the language. We struck out that subsection 1 that you added back in June, again, with the idea being that we're not against trying to figure out a way to work around that quirk, but it's not going to happen in the next few years. And given that we're implementing this new ERP system, we need to, one, get it implemented, and two, see what the capabilities are and figure we can address that maybe next year, shortly thereafter. By the same token, at subsection C, we are completely on board with the extra paid courses, getting them paid out as soon as possible and in the first paycheck after the classes start. However, again, with this, we want to see how the new ERP system allows that to happen and figure out, we assume it's going to have the capability to do so and to make it better than it has been in the past. And good faith, we'll shoot to that, but we don't want to be held to that, certainly not necessarily this coming semester while that's being implemented. So we have a little caveat that we're proposing in subsection C there. Subsection D, we only struck out the BenCor benefit. Our thought was that it wasn't applicable to any of the full-time faculty, but we're not 100% sure if there are some that have that for some reason. And if you know of examples of that, we'd be interested in. But we thought it didn't apply to this group.
Hi, Brian. This is Gary Ash. Can I interrupt you for just a second on that BenCor thing? I get my sick leave paid into BenCor because I'm on drop. Is that saying they're no longer going to do that? Because that's a pre-tax thing, so it's like an IRA.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do? Just give me a check and then I have to pay taxes on? I don't understand. Can you clarify?
Yeah. No, I don't think, Gary. I don't think we're suggesting changing anything that's currently happening. We can Darrell, if you're on, you can speak to that, or if that's wrong, but that's where we're trying to figure out where it was, why the BenCor was in there. Maybe that's a good reason to have it in there. But
That's correct, Brian. I think the bank, what you're referencing, Gary, is towards the sick leave payout at the end of that. Typically, when employees are separating for retirement purposes or otherwise, but this is a paycheck. This is a payroll or paycheck practices or what have you, and we're not making any changes to that or proposing any changes to that. What we're saying is that BenCor typically applies to a different group, not really faculty members, except for when towards the end of the employee's tenure at the college.
Okay, well, thank you for clarifying that, because I was a little bit concerned about that. Thank you.
no problem. And the next one, again, we're agreeable to the general gist of subsection. It's now E, it was your D, with some tweaks on it. We want to make sure that certain things have to be college approved. And it's all meant to codify what is already in place. And I added something on Suncoast. So I know there was some issue with Suncoast and what credit union was dictating and whatnot. So we're agreeable to continue with that. Obviously, to the extent the credit union is, and some of those benefit plans have to be college approved. So we simply added that in there. And then the last one, we struck the overpayment, underpayment. We were not agreeable to that, in the sense that our experience with that is that these are highly circumstance specific. And so we were not necessarily agreeing to trying to determine how long afterwards can we go after an overpayment, underpayment, things of that nature. Just thought it wasn't necessary for the contract, frankly. So that's our proposal on 10.6.
Okay. All right. I think that there are, I think they're all pretty straightforward. I think there's enough being tweaked here that I would prefer to take another caucus to discuss that before responding. We did send you a revised evaluation proposal, as well as evaluation form, which I think is close to, if not just about at our bottom line on those issues. So I'll pull those up just to kind of explain the changes.
Okay.
Okay, so the change we made here in response to the concerns we heard earlier about the advance notice is in this section 3A. What we're proposing is basically just that, and if there's another way to address the concern here, I think we're receptive to that, but it's a concern that we do think we need to address in the contract somehow. This is our second shot at it. The idea is basically that the dean would give the faculty member advance notice of a window, 2 to 5 days, whatever the dean decides, during which they plan to come do an observation. And then if the faculty member knows they're going to be giving a test one of those days, rather than, wait for the dean to show up and say, well, sorry, I've got a test today, we need to figure something else out. The faculty member can just say, okay, well, on this day I have a test. So, you can come if you want, but maybe it'd be better to come a different day. So it's a responsibility of the faculty member to let the dean know. But we think that's, just better all around for everyone if we're not, wasting time driving all over the region, only to find that, there's nothing to observe.
Mm-hmm.
Within the text of Article 8, that's the only change we've made to our previous proposal. We've also made a couple of changes to the form that we previously proposed. We kept the parts at the top on the form that just say date, time, duration of observation, as well as the distinction between live classroom versus reviewing the online course materials. Everything else we took out. We felt that what we've kept up here is, information of relevance and general interest, and shouldn't need a big conceptual shift or discussion around to include these things. So these things we think are important and simple enough that we can make the changes. But the rest of the changes we have proposed in there, we've withdrawn, we've removed.
And I know one of the philosophical differences we had was whether or not to allow arbitration of the dispute over the evaluation. Is that something that you continue to propose, looks like?
Yeah, we haven't made any change to our proposal on that.
We would need to discuss in the caucus.
Okay. Well, I think we'll look at your 10.6. We're also looking at, we're going to look closely at discipline and see if there's any more movement we can make on that. We like to let you know where we're going to stand on that. Let's see. I think we can probably be done by 11:45. You think that will give you enough time?
Yeah, before we break though, let me ask Dr. Gabbard to address the issue about the makeup work and the levels that we're talking about, the hours. I think she could probably best address some of that. Dr. Gabbard, are you on?
I am, thanks. So just obviously I don't have all of the exact details because that would take much time, but I do have some general statements that I can make regarding the makeup time in the fall. So it is my understanding, and I believe that all of the nursing faculty received a schedule that had the makeup time on there. So if you did not receive that, please let me know, or if you do not understand the parameters of the makeup time, please let me know and I can clarify that, because I do have a copy of the schedule that Michelle had sent out to each of you. But from what I can see, looking at in generalities of the makeup for the courses, most courses are anywhere between 90 and 120 hours for the RN faculty, and then the PN have about 150 hours for a makeup time frame. So, and certainly I will get with you if you need some clarification on what those are. And then once those makeup hours are done, then faculty move into their next assignment. I still need to work on fundamentals, because obviously fundamentals, we did not take students in. That's our biggest challenge for the fall. So just figuring out what those load hours will be and communicating with you on those as we continue to figure out how to get the load hours for the faculty. That's a summary.
All right, thank you, Dr. Gabbard. It's 11:15. What do you think, 11:45, Graham?
I think that should give us enough time. Yeah, does that work for you?
Yeah, I think so. Why don't we plan on caucusing and come back in 30 minutes, 11:45.
Sounds good.
All right.
Alrighty, thanks.